radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network.
All right. Welcome, Fade to Black. How you doing? Today's Wednesday, December 18th, 2024. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. All right. Let's do this, man. What a great week here on Fade to Black. And today's a special day. I didn't realize it. I kind of knew you feel it coming. But Renee called me this morning. Producer Renee, she calls me this. Hey, happy anniversary. Congratulations, completing 10 years. I was like, is that today? Is that today? So, yeah, today we wrap 10 years of doing this show. And tomorrow we celebrate our 11th anniversary. So we'll save all of that for tomorrow. But yeah, 10 years in the can. Yeah, pretty crazy. And what a great week to do all of that in. Monday, we had Joshua Cutchin and Ryan Grulick with us and their film Lady of the Lake. Tuesday night, last night, we had Dr. Dan Biddle on with us. And talking about giants of the Bible, and that conversation last night, that really got interesting. Just an amazing conversation. And tonight, Joshua Shapiro's back with us. We're going to be talking about crystal skulls tonight. And in front of me, I have brought into the studio here a few skulls from my collection. I have a lot, but I brought in. They're all my favorite, by the way. And I'll say that again later on the show. They're all my favorites. And they've all got their own personality. So anyway, I grabbed at random. There wasn't like I went, oh, yeah, I got it. Oh, yeah. No, I didn't do that. No, I did with one. Yeah, I did with one. You know who I'm talking about. So he's here. So anyway. That is that. And then tomorrow night is our once a month AMA AJA. You can ask me anything, post all of your questions in the chat in all caps. We will do that tomorrow night. AMA AJA, that's a coincidence, by the way, just so you guys know. Michelle books the show. I'm just the dude on the mic. Renee produces the news. Michelle produces the show. Well, actually, they kind of both work together on all of that. But anyway, Michelle booked the AMA for tomorrow night. I don't think she realized because, well, maybe she's pretty smart. She's pretty smart. But, this stuff is booked weeks ago in advance. So I have no idea. How she landed an AMA AJA on our 11th anniversary. Very cool. So that's going on tomorrow night. All right. So tonight, wrapping up our 10 years, we have Joshua Shapiro here. And then, of course, tomorrow is our 11th anniversary. Now, I do have 4 major events coming up. I actually have 8. And Brian Forrester emailed me today and, sent me a new graphic and a new poster and stuff. So excited about what is going on in Peru. I'll get to that in just a second. I talked to everybody over at the Conscious Life Expo today. Got the Expo Christmas party and some other stuff that's coming up. And it's a Conscious Life Expo. That's February 7th through the 10th, 2025. At the LAX Hilton. The links for that are below. It is the biggest conference in the world. It's absolutely amazing. So just come and hang out with us. The links for everything, events, speakers, all the details you need are below. Rise of the Guardians comes up next. That's March 29th and 30th, 2025 in Sedona, Arizona. I'm hosting that event too. I'll be speaking and hosting there. Headed to the Midwest for the Contact Modalities Expo. That is March 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, 2025 in Delavan, Wisconsin at Delavan Lake. I'm hosting and speaking, and we've got a UFO Sky Watch. We're also going to do a Sky Watch in Sedona too as well. So get signed up for everything at the links below. And then, of course, I just mentioned Brian Forrester going to Peru for the Inca Celebration of the Sun. That is June 17th through the 27th, 2025 with Brian Forrester, the Inca Celebration of the Sun. Now, this is a special event. It's the solstice. We have special seating and stuff for you at Sacsayhuaman, where this ginormous, beautiful celebration is going to be for the solstice. So come and hang out with us. We still have some spots available for that tour. Okay. Links for that are below. Hidden Inca Tours. Let's get to it. All right. Tonight, Joshua Shapiro is with us. Crystal skulls are what he does. All right, and we're going to be discussing not only crystal skulls tonight, but we're going to be talking about his visions of the future, his soul gatherings in Florida. We're going to talk about that and what is in the future, specifically 2037 to 2040. We're going to talk about that tonight too as well, because he has been doing crystal skulls, the paranormal world mystery, since 1983. And started in Chicago, my hometown. He's now in Florida. And he started the Center for the Advancement of Humanity, where he leads 2 public groups aimed at uniting spiritual individuals like you, like me. We're going to talk about all of that and much more tonight. I want to welcome back to Fade to Black Joshua Shapiro. He's right there. Joshua, good evening, young man. Merry Christmas. Welcome back.
Thank you so much, Jimmy, and thank you for calling me a young man.
Well, I think I'm older than you.
Well, that could be. Once you get to a certain age, you don't worry about it anymore.
It doesn't matter, does it? It doesn't matter. No, you just turn into a cranky old man. Yeah, and that's kind of where I'm at. I'm the cranky old man, dude. You know, when I was a kid, it's funny that you bring that up. When I was a kid, and you did the same thing when you were a kid, we all saw the old dude walking up the street complaining and talking to himself. Walking, get off my lawn. Yeah. And I'll never be that guy. I'll never grow up and be that. I did. I grew up and I'm that guy now. I'm the cranky old dude that walks down the street talking to himself. Do you do that? I know you do.
Absolutely not.
Oh, you're fibbing. I'm
an Aries. I don't complain. I just go for things, and I don't care if people like me or not. I'm just me. God loves me, and I'm good.
See, you just said it. You don't care if people like you or see. You are that. Do you believe, as I do? By the way, I believe in Santa Claus. Do you believe in the naughty list? Do you try to stay off of the naughty list?
No.
You don't?
No. Why should I? I have to be, as an Aries, I have to be myself. So there's going to be people who love me and people who hate me. The people who hate me will put me on their naughty list. So there's nothing I can do about it.
That almost sounds like a Libra.
Well, it could be a Libra. It's just you have to be yourself. You don't give your power away. But it doesn't mean that you don't care about people and you don't help them. It just means that you listen to everything and you decide for yourself what works for you and what doesn't.
Somebody just said Aries for the win. You know what I find? You know what I find interesting about that? Whenever I have on an astrologer, and it certainly David Lawrence Palmer comes to mind first, and Serena Wright Taylor, she's amazing, and Jeff Harmon is amazing. You know, they're all really good. But when I get, because David is so outspoken, he's an astrologer that chain smokes and swears like a sailor on shore leave, right? Okay. And people enjoy his honesty. right? But when he gets on and the audience gets going, it's so amazing to me and fascinating to see how people follow not only astrology but their signs, and they know and will tease other signs, right? I mean, like there's a whole current and subculture to that community, isn't there? Like that Aries for the win, raw team, right? I love it.
Well, that's sort of true.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Well, he said for the win means you want to win all the time, no matter what, no matter who you hurt or what trouble you
No, I
cause.
don't think that's what he was saying. No. He's just proud to be Aries. He heard Aries get mentioned.
Oh, I see. For the win.
Yeah.
Okay, I got it. Yeah, because we don't have to win all the time. We just try to do our best and have the greatest, most unbelievable, unique experience that could ever possibly happen.
You sound like a Libra.
Well,
I'm just teasing. I'm teasing.
All
right. All right.
Well, I know a lot of Libras, and I've not heard one of the Libras talk like that. So
No. I'm just trying to mess with you. It's the holidays, Joshua. Now, what is it? What is it about crystal skulls? It's kind of like, I mean, there was a point in my life where I didn't have any.
Okay.
Now I have 100. Right.
Well,
you know what I mean? And I didn't. And once it's kind of like heroin or, a good drug dealer. You get one and that's it. It's over.
I don't know. You use different examples than I use, Jimmy.
How would you say it? How would you say it?
The key we have to always understand is we each have our own way of looking at life and how things work.
Right.
And we're never going to meet another person, even if it's another Aries that has the same birthday I have and is born at the same time. He or she will not be exactly the same as I am. We all have our uniqueness. So I would say with the crystal skulls, it's an energy thing. Yes. Either they resonate for you or they don't. And usually what happens is once you get your first one, you go, I like the feeling of that. I wonder if I should get more. And then all of a sudden, before you know it, you start to have more. Now, most of the ones that I personally have, I've not purchased them. They have come as gifts or I've received them or whatever.
Same thing with me.
Right.
I've never paid for a crystal skull.
Yeah.
No, I take that back. I'll get it during the break. I'm not going to get up and go get it now. Okay. I have an amber skull.
Okay.
And that I bought. You know why I bought it? Because the lady that had it, friend of mine, had it out for other reasons. It wasn't for sale. And I couldn't part with it. And yeah, she knocked a hole in my credit card. Let me tell you something. I was not. She goes, no, I've had that. It's got its name. And there I said, I can't give it back to you. Jimmy, don't do this to me. And I said, don't you do it to me. It's so I paid for one. I paid handsomely for it too as well. It's in there. It's about this big, amber. Yeah, beautiful too. Beautiful.
Okay. Then I was thinking there's another thing that I trust too, is that we don't pick them, they pick us.
Yep.
So in other words, if you're destined to be involved with crystal skulls, now I don't expect you'll be over 40 years like I've been. And I wasn't planning that on day one when I started either. Then it's like magical. It just starts happening to you. It's becomes natural. You go, where the heck am I getting these insights and information from? And it's just probably past lives or just working with the energy or, probably when we were in spirit, we made agreements about what kind of work we're going to do while we're here on Earth. So I know for a fact that I agreed to help with crystal skulls.
Now, there's a lot of talk and especially when you get into the research of crystal skulls and some of the more famous skulls around the world, and the legend and the stories and the histories behind each one. And one of those, I'm going to say myth, legend, that is behind that. They store energy and they have information, and that information that can be very, very, very old, and that they can help you look to the future as well as understand current events, and then also look to the past where this information is stored. Where do these stories come from, and is there any truth to them?
I think most of these legends and stories come from indigenous tribes of people who have been guardians of these artifacts for a very long time. Especially the Mayans seem to be one of the key ones. Like there was a Mayan elder who I met in Holland in my personal crystal skull, who unfortunately is in the ocean now helping to heal the water. Just happened recently, but when he was with me, the Mayan elder said, "No, this one belongs to our tribe. We have to take it back." And I said, "No, this one was carved by this guy I know in Brazil." And he didn't believe me. And then I showed him another one that was carved by the same carver, and they looked alike. So he got fooled by the energy. So I think the indigenous people are the ones who talk about these legends, but as a person who's been around God knows how many crystal skulls in 40 years, it's absolutely correct. They have energy. They're always impacting or affecting me, some more than others. Some I've had such a strong response to it that I went into an altered state, or I start receiving knowledge or information,
Mm-hmm.
or the most consistent thing that happens to me with my personal skulls is I hear telepathically they speak to me. They say, "This is my name. This is this is the energy I have. This is how I'm going to help people." And then depending upon whatever it is I'm working on, they may start giving me guidance. And it's because the only way that I can explain this phenomenon is I say there's some kind of living consciousness that's working through the skulls. Something about the material it's made out of or the energy that it contains is conducive to allow these dimensional spiritual beings to come through, and they start working with us and they start helping us.
I
So
find
that's
that so interesting, and it's so many different types of crystal out there and materials that skulls are made of. I just mentioned I have an amber one.
right.
I have meteorite. I have pyrite, as well as a variety of crystals and gemstones. Different weights, different sizes. I really only have one source, technically two sources. I have one of my best friends, Lisa Frith. She's known as the Crystal Skull Lady because she goes around at conferences and she'll have a big bag with her with little gift bags of little mini skulls, right? She hands them out. That's it. That's all it takes, right? You get your little crystal skull, and the next thing you know. So, and she did that to me. I have a bunch of her skulls. I have some bigger ones, of course, but I have a bunch of her small ones that she gives out. But her source, she has, I don't want to give it away, and I don't want to upset her husband, Jeff, who's one of my dear friends, but he puts up with it. I'm going to say she has over 1,000 skulls. Some of them, she has one, I think it's 45 pounds or something. It's like this big. It's huge. Anyway, she gets her skulls from Carolyn Ford. I get my skulls from Carolyn Ford. So like I said, I have two sources, technically. One, Lisa picks them out for me, and so does Carolyn. I don't, they're all gifts, right? They know me and they know where, and I've enjoyed that kind of relationship. Now, I have been gifted skulls, going back to your point, that I have picked up and something has happened. And then it gets gifted. And that, yes. And then it's a really strange, the reason why I'm bringing all of this up when you mention some skulls more than others, is it the material? And is there one type of crystal or gemstone that resonates with you more than others?
Quartz crystals resonate with me more than others. There are some people like Katrina when she was alive that she had a great affinity for many different stones. I don't find that's true for me. I mostly resonate with quartz skulls, and I have a lapis lazuli skull that I feel a close connection with. And obsidian is another stone. So there's a couple of stones that I do, but not a lot. So
what is it about? It's funny that, okay, so three of the, I just happened to, oh, by the way, for transparency, did you and I discuss what skulls I would show tonight on the show?
Not at all.
Not at all. Did you see me bring these skulls in?
Not at all.
Not at all. I happen to have a lapis lazuli right here, and a Lemurian quartz and a Brazilian quartz, and I also brought in a ruby. And a meteorite. I have a meteorite too as well. I brought that because it's very unique. It's not what you expect. I'll save that one for later. But you mentioned lapis lazuli. When I got this skull and the ruby one too, well, actually, they all have their own stories. But let's talk about lapis lazuli for a second. It's heavy, man. It's just so heavy. Hold on. It's a two-hander. This is lapis lazuli. And when you look at this and you see what is happening here, there is so much going on in the skull. And so when I first, this is a him, by the way. I don't think it's a her. Look at that.
It's beautiful.
Just incredible.
Amazing.
Anyway, it was heat. I felt it go up my arm. The first, and I just remember that feeling of it. You can feel when you pick up a skull, and I'm pointing this out to you. I want you to tell me why this happens. Why do I feel it go up my arm? Why do I feel the energy? Why do I feel this like that instant connection? And then why does the temperature change? Why would the temperature? This is heavy. This is probably 8 pounds. Right? This is a heavy gemstone. How can it change temperature from just so quickly? Why does that happen? There's reasons for it. I've heard different reasons. I want your opinion, because I connected with this one immediately. And so why do all of those things happen? Let's start with the vibration of the arms.
Okay, well, first of all, it's through our hands that we send and receive energy. Okay, if you're a healer. So this happens to me all the time. But what happens is there's energy that comes out of our hands that can interact with the gemstones. And if you're very connected with it from a spiritual, vibrational perspective, it's going to show up as heat. Like, for example, if I hold my clear quartz skulls in both hands and I meditate and I put headphones on, after 10 minutes, I give you those stones. They're going to be white hot. So what's happening? I'm just meditating. It's because I'm working with energies, and what happens is the more that you do that, it becomes automatic. As soon as you just start working with stones, it's like an automatic thing. You don't even have to think about it. Now, there could be other people, they'll hold a stone for hours and nothing will happen. Well, either that's not their gift or they haven't developed the gift for that. This is not a gift that works for everybody. So
so you're saying, okay, I think that there's two things going on. So let's talk about each one. Right. We have the receiving of the energy when you pick up the skull that goes up your arms, right? Yeah, that's going in one direction. And then you have the energy from you going back into the skull, which can lead to the temperature changes, and also the color of the quartz will change in your
Yeah.
hands. Yeah, that's
it can
so
change.
that's the energy going in the other direction.
Yeah, it's both directions at the same time. It's
Wow.
it's your energy with the skull's energy also. Your energy can be activating the crystal or the stone too. Okay, it's it's like what Tesla talked about. He knew about all these unique frequencies and energy and everything that comes up. So this is what's happening with stones with certain people. They are already connected to the stones. All they have to do is start holding it, and the healing energy and the universal energy that flows through them, they just start going wild and very quickly. So it's kind of like a gift. It's like, how can one person, easily paint a picture where the rest of us just scratch our head and go, I could never do that. Or I'm a musician. I don't know where my songs come from. I don't know where my strums come from, but I just start doing it naturally. It's just a gift that I have. So it's the same thing with the skulls. There are people who have gifts that can work with the energy and are sensitive to the energy. Now, some of the crystal skulls we receive, they don't have any energy. They're like brand new. Nobody's ever worked with them. And then there's other skulls that probably have been worked with people for hundreds or thousands of years, that those babies, they're really juiced and charged, and a person who's sensitive to energy will start picking it up right away. Because I believe that the skulls are able to record frequencies of energy around them, which could be history of things or events that have happened, which a sensitive person can, go into meditation and start receiving all that kind of stuff.
You
I
don't
think,
necessarily have to meditate either.
no, it can happen to you immediately. I'm just saying in general, if you do a meditation where you're focusing more inside of yourself, that's going to speed everything up and empower everything. But if you're able to work with the skulls, like, if I hold one of my crystal skulls, like I have one of the ET skulls that we make available for people, all I have to do is just focus and hold it. Now it's ice cold, but in 3 or 4 minutes, it'll start heating up. I'm not consciously doing anything. I'm just holding it and linking into it, but I'm not consciously focusing on anything. It just happens by itself. So
And what kind of quartz is that?
that's clear quartz, and it was made by an Indian carver. So I have an
Yeah,
Indian carver who makes ET skulls for me.
yeah, I have one of those, and it is obsidian.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, gorgeous. It's a gorgeous skull.
Right.
What is the I'm spacing on it right now. What is the Russian black gemstone?
Black tourmaline, are you talking
Yeah,
about?
yeah, black tourmaline. I have a black tourmaline skull, and I have a black tourmaline uh pyramid, and a black tourmaline pyramid base.
Hmm.
It's about that big that the pyramid sits on. And I keep that around my electronic equipment.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. I don't want to. I am full woo. I try to stay centered and objective, but man, I'm full woo. I have a bowl of pyrite that I keep. It's over here, that I
Hmm.
keep behind my monitors to soak up energies, and
Right.
yeah, and yeah, yeah. So
Well, that's how the ancients used their gemstones, working with energy. They knew the properties, they knew which gemstone to use for what specific purpose and everything. So probably that's what's happening to you. All that wisdom and knowledge from your past lives just coming back to you, and you naturally know how to work with those stones. See,
what kind of you mentioned? I'm sorry, did I just interrupt you? What were you
no,
going to
go
say?
ahead. No, go ahead. I was
You
finished.
mentioned downloads earlier. What kind of information did you receive? I'm sure it's happened so many times, but was there one special download that you can share with us?
Um, I Yeah, there's one. So this is a personal story, but it would illustrate the point because it's the first one that's coming to my mind. So I always go with the first one. So I would talk about my experience with the Atlantean crystal ball that I met about 15 years ago in Key West, Florida. So this is just when I met Katrina, like in the first month. We had just gotten together, and I said, do you want to go with me to go see this, crystal ball that's supposed to be very old from Atlantis? So she was up for that. So we had to drive from Atlanta to go there, probably about 2 days, like maybe 15 hours or something like that. It was a pretty long drive, because not only do you have to drive from the middle part of Georgia, you got to drive all the way from the north to the southern part of Florida. So Florida, of course, isn't that big, but going up and down, it's as big as other states we have. So to make a long story short, after the man who had the Atlantean crystal ball yelled and screamed at me to get rid of all my skulls away from it, which I did, except I put one in my pocket. You never tell an Aries what to do. So I said, I'm keeping one in my pocket with me. He decided, after he did the kind of like this healing meditation around us, he said, open your hands like this, because this is how the Atlantean crystal ball was discovered. There were some metal hands and it was sitting in it. And he put the ball into my right hand. And then I got to do a meditation with it. So what this ball showed me that I didn't understand at that time is a future scene that's going to happen to me, which still hasn't happened to me yet. So I don't know if that would qualify for a download or receiving something, but that was a very specific visual message I received, which I still see in my mind's eye. So what it was is I saw 3 people in front of me. To my left was a man, a woman in the middle, and a little child, and their backs were turned to me, so I couldn't see their faces. And I knew that the man was me. I could feel it vibrationally. The woman, I thought maybe Katrina, but it wasn't her, and I didn't know who the little child was. After Katrina passed, which was in November of 2023, I think probably December or January after that, I'm sitting in bed and I get a lot of telepathic messages. Sometimes I don't know where they come from. Sometimes it's from Katrina in spirit. Sometimes it's from some crazy archangel that's behind me. Sometimes it's galactic beings. Sometimes it's from my future self, which we'll talk about, I'm sure, before the end of the evening. And the message said, that image that you keep seeing with the ball, it's not past. It's not present. It hasn't happened to you yet. So that's all it said. So what it's saying to me is that eventually there's going to be some new woman who I have no clue who this is, because every attempt, this is the most ridiculous period of time I've ever lived in. Every attempt I've made here in Florida to find a spiritual woman just to date has utterly and totally failed. Nothing I can do will succeed. It's almost as if someone's saying, nope, we're not going to let you endanger whoever this special woman is that you saw in the vision. So you get nothing. So you just have to, just release it and let it happen when it's divine time. But the little child, which is a girl, she's already showed up in spirit and she's around me talking to me. Now, the problem with it is when you say, well, Katrina's here and the little girl is over there, that's the directions I feel, is I'm experiencing it, but how the heck do I prove this to somebody else? Unless, of course, they have their own relatives or spirit guides or whatever that are talking to them. But it's the same thing like the blue skull, too, that I feel is connected to me in Peru. I wrote an entire book about it, but I've never seen it in the physical. I've only seen it in my mind's eye, or it's around me in spirit also. It happens to sit on the same hand as the Atlantean crystal ball, too. When I call it, I'll feel its weight come. So I have a lot of crazy things that happen around me, but it helps to guide me and helps to understand key work that I'm here to do with crystal skulls, or, to bring peace and harmony to the earth. So that would be the best download that I could ever think of, connected with a crystal or a crystal skull, a vision given to me that I'm still waiting for it to happen.
Did you mention the child?
Yeah, the child's in spirit now. Okay, I didn't know if it was a boy or a girl when I saw it.
All right.
About 2 months ago in my room, and it's like in the corner by the door, I'm looking at it. I always look over there. I just feel her, and she keeps saying, "Keep playing with your step granddaughter, which is Katrina's daughter, so that you
Right.
get practice for me when I come, because I'm going to be here next year."
Okay, okay, okay. I don't want to. My take means nothing.
Right.
My take means absolutely nothing. I'm no expert, but I think you're about to meet somebody that has a daughter.
Well, this is what other people have said too.
Yeah, that's
That maybe it's
and
not
the
mine.
universe, man, Joshua, you're too smart. You've been doing this for a long time. The universe has a funny way of slapping you upside the head when you least expect it. It's just the way it works, man.
Yeah, I
You
know.
know, I've been single now for 4 years, and I don't discuss my personal life, and I'm not going to get into that right now either. But um, if something happens, it's going to happen. But I'm not in any way searching. Does that
Right.
make sense?
Right. Well, that's
Yeah.
what all my soul sisters have screamed at me. Stop looking, stop searching. There's nothing you can do about it. When you least expect it, it'll happen. Now, it is possible that she could already be born and with the woman, but she's communicating with me in spirit already because she's a Van's child. So this could be also what could be going on. Maybe it's not a child that will be born through me, but I believe
Right.
that
Right.
it is my destiny to have children because I never have had children. And I'm definitely going to, when the med beds are announced and we can start using them, I'm regressing myself 30 years.
Oh, well, I wouldn't mind doing that too as well. I guess
Right?
I'm married to my Harley. I'm
Yeah.
okay with that. I'm okay with that. Now, so lapis lazuli, what are the special traits with lapis lazuli that make it so special? What are some of the, I'll just say, claims? I think it's different for everybody, but what what's so special about lapis lazuli? Gosh, so beautiful.
Um, Lapis lazuli, as I recall, was one of the breaststones that was used on the breastplate of the what is it called? The Hebrew priests, the Levites. The Levites, they used to wear that, so it was kind of like a sacred stone. When I hold the lapis lazuli skull, he's generally for me very quiet, but very calming and grounding. So that's how it works for me. But I think there's a lot more uses for lapis lazuli than that. I know obsidian was used to protect energetically some skulls so that they could be like put in obsidian boxes and people wouldn't find them or see their energy to protect them. So that's one way I know with the obsidian. But the lapis lazuli for me, um, it's just a really beautiful stone. My lapis lazuli skull is actually a little bit bigger than yours in a much more blue color. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, I forgot. I left them in my car. So,
No, that's fine. This has got like the inclusions and what is happening here
mhm.
are definitely gold in appearance, and you can see that it's got these
Yep.
gold highlights
Yeah.
throughout, and then these deep navy blue spots. Almost looks like the earth. You know,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. I
got a,
think my lapis lazuli has the like gold spots as well.
yeah, yeah.
It's not
So
a solid blue. It has speckles and
yeah,
lines and
so
things
does
like
this.
that.
So does this. Underneath, I mean, it's just crazy. The back of the skull, look at that.
Right.
Looks like paint splatter.
Right. The
And
only,
heavy, it's a heavy gemstone. I mean,
yeah, it is.
people, you look at this and you're like, well, no, this thing is
Yeah, it
like
is.
the weight of a bowling ball, and it's so dense.
Right.
I love that skull. Now, um, I have a couple of classic crystal skulls here, and I'm going to bring up first. This is Jose,
Okay.
and that is ultra clear
Yep. Very clear.
Lemurian.
Hmm.
And but what's unique about this is, if you look straight, well, you know, my cameras are not autofocus, but there's a line that goes through, totally clear, but that one little angle, and it, especially in the sunlight. Now, you can see how clear it is. This thing is, let me pull up this other camera. This thing is crystal clear, right? Just look at that. Just beautiful. But this guy changes color. Right now he's white, but he'll go brown. He'll go a little gray, but almost orange when I say brown. And he changes color, and it'll happen right in front of you. It's crazy. But let me tell you about Jose. You don't have to go into a meditation. I didn't when Jose told me his name. I was sitting with a group of people. I just came off of a stage. All right. Just came off of a stage. Walked in to my hotel room. Outside of my hotel room, sliding glass doors, there's a bunch of my female friends are all sitting in a circle, and they're doing a crystal skull ceremony. I'm out there working, paying the bills. They're having a good time doing a crystal skull ceremony, incense and sage and all that stuff. They're having a good time. So I go out there, and Jose is sitting in front of me, and I'm listening to him, and I just came off stage. I'm not in the zone of a crystal skull ceremony. I'm not where they are right now. They're deep in it. But I come in, I sit down, and and I see Jose, and I picked him up like this, and I just kind of looked at him, and he goes, "My name is Jose." I'm like, "Whoa!" And I put him down, man. I put him down, and everybody's like doing their thing, and I'm like looking at him, going, "That was strange." Now, a bunch of things happened with Jose that night. I'm not going to get into the details, but right after that, about an hour later, Lisa comes up to me, and she gifted me Jose, and he's been with me ever since. About 10 years. It's been a while, 9 years probably. But you don't have to meditate. He literally just said to me, "My name is Jose."
Right.
He's a troublemaker, by the way. I sometimes I have to put him in a timeout. So, what's so special about quartz?
Well, for me, the quartz crystal, I'll go with what I heard Marcel Vogel say one time. The bones in our body resonate with the same vibrational frequency energies as quartz crystal. So if you start holding a quartz crystal, it's totally connected with your entire body because you have bones everywhere. So this is one point. The other point is it seems to be a type of stone that works as a dimensional crystal where all these spirits and consciousness and energies can really start coming through into our reality. So like whoever this intelligence is that's told you the name of Jose, probably working with you is what's changing the color of the skull. It's the combination of the skull, the consciousness, and your energy together and what you're working with. Because I've seen Portal de Luz, Portal of Light, which is my 10-pound smoky quartz skull, who right now is helping the ocean. I've watched him also change color and change internally inside just by just holding him. It just starts happening. Or there was one time where I went to Poland and I was working with a medical doctor who was also a magnetic healer. And he knew this woman who was like a professional opera singer. And she took the skull and put it by her throat. And he went from a kind of light gray smoky quartz to completely clear quartz.
Well, I have a 25-pound smoky quartz skull. And his name is Vader. Okay. And I've seen him, and he's pretty smoky already, right? He's kind of a medium brown, clear, but I've seen him almost go solid, like black.
Solid black.
Yeah. You can still see through it, but it's It's black. It's not brown. I should say he's black. He's like, yeah, like dark gray instead of brown.
Yeah.
But crazy. I used to have in my bedroom. I don't anymore. No, not a fun thing. But let me address something.
Okay.
I used to post, and I know you've been through this. I used to post pictures of my crystal skulls years ago. I haven't done it in a very long time. What I didn't dig is the negative comments from people. And I don't know if it's the imagery of what they're looking at, or they've got issues with it, or they're working out daddy issues. I don't know what it is, but clearly there is a stigma and a taboo behind crystal skulls. And it comes from people that have zero experience with them. It's dark. This is how can you do that? How can you have this in your home? It's like, wait, do you man, you work out your issues and then come back to me, because you clearly don't understand. Why is that? Where did this come from?
It's the shape of a human bone skull. I've seen the same thing happen with our personal skulls. Like, for example, there was a lady we met in Boston, and she wanted to have a session and a healing, but she couldn't look at the face of the skull. We literally had to turn it around and work with her with the energy. And then after we were done, then she was okay to look at the face of it. There is a subconscious programming in our culture that anything to do with a bone skull, it's poison, it's dark, it's devilish, it's pirates, all these negative connotations. But what doesn't make any sense is, why is it just the bone skull that's evil in the human body and the rest of it's okay? It's probably, I heard this, maybe it's because some priest or something in the past wanted to convince people that only they had the power to work with the skulls. So they made it feel like it was super dark and evil and they shouldn't touch it. If they did, terrible things would happen to them. So I don't know if that's a good explanation or not, but it's just somewhere along the way, people just came up with this idea that if they see some kind of a skull-shaped object, it's dark and evil, and they need to stay away from it. And forget about that they have one of them in their head.
Right. We all have a skull. We all have
exactly. So this is where I see it comes from. Same thing happened in the old days where you would turn in pictures, not when we had digital images, but regular picture. The people would look at my pictures of the skulls and they go, "What are you doing, man? Why are you doing that? Are you insane? Are you feeling okay?" They'd feel my head. They think I was crazy. So, but conversely, the bone skull for me is our part of our human part that's able to receive all this level of universal knowledge and consciousness. It comes through somehow through the brain, through the skull. It's through this part that all this great information and insights is coming from. Our pituitary gland is in the middle of the skull, and that's where we get all our telepathic communication. So everything around the head and the skull is very important for humanity to develop into the highest state that we could be. And I think that the indigenous people understood the sacredness of the shape of the skull, and so they would have their carvers make these skulls and use them in sacred ceremonies. That's why
that's okay. That's okay. Yeah. I'm okay with that. I was I'm not going to say who, what, when, or where, so nobody asked. I'm not going to tell you, but I was with a group of people, and there was a woman in this group of people, and she goes, it was a box. And so I was looking at her, and she opens it up, and she goes, "You want to hold my skull?" And I looked, and I go, no. She goes, no, you have to. I said, no, close that thing, man. I don't need to see that. And I don't want to. I have skull rings. I have skull jewelry. I have skulls in front of me. I have skull. I've got skull candy dishes. I have a skull salt and pepper shaker holder on my dining room table. I have no issues with that. But I'm not going to hold a human skull. No. I'll look at it through a piece of glass in a museum, but I'm not interested in touching one or any bones from a human body or skin. No. I don't take those kinds of chances. I don't. Now, also, before we head to the break, here is a Brazilian quartz skull.
Okay.
One of the most beautiful pieces that I have, and this is from Carolyn Ford. They all are Carolyn Fords. And this is a baby Einstein,
Okay.
her skull, Einstein.
Right.
So that's a baby Einstein. And so he's got a little pillow, a custom pillow that he sits on. So he sits level like this. Normal skulls are carved like that, right?
Right.
So anyway, this is Einstein. Now, one of the, I'm going to say, sexiest, beautiful, 3D, stunning pieces of crystal that I have. And you can see it here. It is just stunning to look at. Very powerful skull. Jose is strong, but there's something about this skull here that emits comedy. Okay. It's got a very, very funny nature. I don't know how to explain it. I'm not saying it's Rodney Dangerfield,
Right.
but close.
Right.
Close.
You don't need to explain it, Jimmy, because I talk to so many guardians and they tell me about the personality that's connected to their personal skull. And it's every kind of personality that you could possibly imagine. Like Portal de Luz, sometimes he's comedian. He'll say really foolish, stupid things like he's a young teenage kid or something like that. So for everyone who's a guardian, it's just completely different. They have a dialogue, a conversation going on with their different skulls. And it's the same for me. I have like about 30 of them. I don't work with them all consistently. Maybe about 10 or 15 of them I do. And everyone is unique and different. Some are talkative and some are very quiet. So, and some are for healing and some are for meditation and some are for contact with galactic beings. They all have different purposes. And it's that's part of the unique experience of being a guardian with it, is you never know what's going to happen from day to day. You wake up one morning and you should start working with that one. Hey, I haven't worked with that one for 6 months. Well, now it's time for you to start working with that one or bring that one out for people. Like after Katrina passed, there were a few of her skulls which I never did anything with. Now I'm taking them out and people are loving them. And also, too, she used to yell at me and say, why do you always focus on your 10-pound smoky quartz skull? We have all these other beautiful ones there. You should be talking about them, too. So now I'm sharing all of them, and different people are drawn to different ones.
Does she come to you through the skulls?
No, but she told me, and I haven't experimented with this yet. I have a 13-pound rose quartz 2-part crystal skull. It has a movable jaw. It was done by a carver in China. And she said, I will start coming through energetically that skull. Now, what she does do, however, which is very interesting, is when someone buys a crystal skull from me, because I have these skulls made by carvers in India that I like, what will happen is some people will say, we want you to activate those skulls for us before you mail them to us. So what I do is I let them sit with my personal skulls that are all energized and charged. But before I send them back, I just put the skull in my right hand. Katrina's over here. I just give it to her and I say, you put whatever energy or you do whatever you're going to do with it. And she does. And every single one that I've sent out, not one person has ever complained about any of the skulls that I activated and sent out. Because this was her job. This is what she used to do. So
Mhm.
now I'm trying to emulate it. Occasionally, I might feel to hold one and put something in, but generally, I feel like if it sits with the other skulls and I just give it to her, this will be enough to get the person started with that skull.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah, all of these have been activated with Einstein and
Yeah,
I've gone through ceremony.
yeah.
And now in a general sense, I keep them all together and keep them close to each other. Another thing that I do,
Mhm.
and I love that I ride a Harley, I wear leather, I'm a rough, tough dude. Okay. You know what I do? I have so many palm-sized crystal skulls. I'll sit and watch TV, right? Just on the couch in my hand. And I for a while, it hasn't really changed. I have a couple that I can't put down. They'll just stay in my hand all day
Yeah.
and go in my pocket. I go shopping, I'll walk around with it in my hand, or if I'm in public, I'll have it in my hand. And I do it constantly. But sitting and watching a movie for 2 or 3 hours, sitting on the couch, uh, I always keep one on the close by, and I
Yeah.
rotate. I've got a couple that fit my hand right. Does that
Mhm.
make sense? I mean,
Oh,
you
yes.
yeah, you put it there, and it's like,
Yeah,
oh,
there's a few that you put them in a certain way in your hand, it just fits perfectly. And so you know that's the way you're supposed to hold it. And you had no idea that was going to happen. It just happens.
what are your favorites to put in your palm?
Well, I don't know. Either I'm a lazy Aries or I just don't really work with the skulls the way that you do, Jimmy. I kind of like mostly use them when I'm in the public and I take them out and I let people have the experience of it. But when I'm home, first of all, the room I'm in is very tiny that I'm renting, so I don't have a lot of space to put them all. And the only time that it will come up is like when I'm writing. Sometimes I'll hear they'll call me Dad. They'll say, "Dad, we would like to sit with you. We can help you energetically, so your writing can come through better. You can be better creatively." Now, I haven't really had crystal skulls when I played guitar. I just bought a guitar, but unfortunately, my fingers are so out of shape that they're not pressing down hard enough to play all the chords. So I've been lazy. I haven't been practicing it, but I would be curious to see what happens when I get back up to speed and I start playing my music. What would happen with crystal skulls around me? Because when I put my MP3 player and my headphones on and I listen to certain songs with the skulls, I can go into a very high state. So for me, those two things are sort of connected and very important. And I see that. So I'm just going to say this without proving it. When the new world comes and we have all our financial resources, and the Center for the Advancement of Humanity that you talked about briefly is there, and I can do my music projects, you better believe we're going to do things with music and crystal skulls and lights and all kinds of amazing stuff.
What kind of guitar did you get?
Just a regular six-string folk guitar. Not
Acoustic?
folk, acoustic. Yeah, not folk. It's called acoustic.
Yeah,
So I used to have a 12-string, but if I can't press down six strings, how am I supposed to press down on 12?
you can't.
So I can't. So I have to
No,
start
you
with
can't.
six.
Yeah, you got to start with 6.
I,
Yeah, very cool. Obviously, I love guitars, man,
yeah,
and
obviously.
there is something that I learned, and we're going to take a break here in just a second. Naturally, as I grew up, and as my research goes by, and I interview more people, and I find out things and study, vibration may be the key to absolutely everything around us, and that goes into string theory and what Brian Greene is working on, and of course 432 comes into play. But vibration is also you have the frequency of what we see and light spectrums and it goes right back to guitar and violin and drums and everything is a vibration. and that goes with quartz. And then you find out eventually, everybody's heard of a quartz watch. Well, there's a reason why quartz is used, because it vibrates. It vibrates. You throw a charge into it, and it vibrates at a very consistent rate, and so accurate and so perfect and so cool. You make watches out of it, and that is called vibration. And so I found out about all of this quite naturally. And then, you get older, and then you really start to put these puzzle pieces together, and realizing that everything is connected, and everything is connected through vibration, period.
Right.
Period. That's it.
Right.
And
that's how I do my intuitive readings. I'm feeling the energy of the person, which is their vibration, and then I remember it, and I can go back in touch with them, or I can go back, like if Portaloluz isn't here and he's in the ocean, well, I feel him right here, and I'm talking to him, and I feel his energy and his vibration, and I'm asking him, are you sad? Are you unhappy? And he's going, Dad, I'm on the greatest experience I've ever had. Just leave me alone. Let me do my thing here. So, it may sound like a crazy conversation with the crystal skull, but that's what he keeps telling me whenever I check in with him. So everything is vibration. Absolutely.
Let's take our break right here. Our guest tonight, Joshua Shapiro, is with us. Tonight, it's Fade to Black. We're talking crystal skulls all night long. I've got more crystal skulls to show and talk about. We'll be right back after this short break. Stay with us. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to get your alerts and access to over 2,000 videos. Click that subscribe button right now. Go to jimmychurchradio.com and get the Fade to Black official podcast. 2,000 episodes, all of them commercial free for just $2 a month. Watch Into the Vortex on Gaia TV. It's Fade to Black for the screen. Simple to do. Go to Gaia.com, search Jimmy Church, or click on the link below. Follow Fade to Black on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Get all of the show updates every single day. It's now called X, but who cares? How you doing? Jimmy Church here. Special announcement. Get your Fade to Black t-shirts. That's right. Help support the show. Help support everything that we do over here. We've got 2 t-shirts. We've got 2 ways to get them. Get your Fade to Black t-shirt today. Go Backley Tappy. Go to jimmychurchradio.com and become a Fadernaut. Get a membership. That's right. Everything is commercial free. You have access to downloads, and you get to call yourself a Fadernaut. River Moon Coffee, makers of the Fade to Black blend. Truly the best coffee on planet Earth. Just visit rivermoonwellness.com or their Amazon store. It's all simple to do. You can check out the Fade to Black blend, the Game Changer blend, or any of their Black Moon Wellness products. It's the only coffee I drink. It is the best, and it's Doc. Again, rivermoonwellness.com. All right. Welcome back, Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, Joshua Shapiro is with us. Today, we are wrapping up 10 years on the air. Joshua is with us. Tomorrow is our 11th anniversary. Absolutely incredible. Great way to do this tonight with Joshua. And let's get straight back to it. And so I have something we were talking right before the break about skulls that I put in the palm of my hand, and I like to sit on the couch. I always have one at the ready. But check this one out. This is very unique. This is Meteorite, and it's an elongated skull.
Right.
And this is made by an artist friend of mine in Peru. He's got a meteorite this big, and he takes chunks off of it. I've seen it. And this was made at, let me pull it up here. You can see I have my like I said, I don't have autofocus cameras. These are black magic cameras with fixed lenses, but you can see them there. Meteorite. Just incredible. Just absolutely incredible. Whoa! You can see how heavy he is too, huh? Just slipped out exactly. Yeah. Fits right. It's just right there and perfect. Now, what is unique about meteorite? And ancient cultures loved meteorites, and they would carve all kinds of things out of them over the years. What is special about meteorite?
Well, I can't really answer you on this question because I haven't worked a lot with meteorite myself. Unfortunately, Katrina was the one in our team that knew about all these different gemstones and their properties and everything. The only speculation I can have about the meteorite is that it's bringing with it non-terrestrial energies from outside of Earth. And this is part of the reason I think a lot of people get drawn to it, or other materials that come from space. I know that they also use to make for skulls, or to use those gemstones and make them in shapes. So it's kind of like a personal preference. I think when a person goes to get a skull or something, and they can see the different ones and the different gemstones, see which one resonates for them first. So for me, the meteorite has never resonated. I've always been drawn more to the quartz or the lapis lazuli or the obsidian. Those were the stones, so I just honor it. And I know I've seen so many skulls made of so many different materials over the years. So I think, again, it just boils down to each person's unique frequency and vibration and energy. Which gemstone do they resonate with the most? Could they have a crystal skull in there? That would probably make the most difference for them. So,
do you have on your website, do you have skulls available?
No. What I've done is I only put them on my Facebook page.
Okay, I got you. So if everybody heads over to your Facebook page, our moderators will put it up in. Somebody put up Joshua's Facebook page in the chat for everybody. But I like this guy, and I've just vibrated with him since I brought him home all the way from South America. I have a few from South America, but just a very beautiful, very unique skull. And it looks very Paracas, it looks like the other elongated skulls. Very cool. Definitely. Very cool. Now, okay, let's go with this. This is, I have two ruby skulls here in front of me, two different kinds of ruby. And so I brought them both out so everybody can see the difference. This first one that I'm going to show everybody, and her name is Anne.
Okay.
Just came to me, and so Anne is her name.
Right.
I don't know anybody named Anne, but anyway, so this is Anne. Ruby with black. I don't know what it is. It could be obsidian or something else that's in there. The back half, and there's some gold flake and some silver flakes, metallic flakes in here. But this is more red. You see a lot of ruby skulls that are green, right? They're mainly green, which I have here. and very heavy, very dense stone, gemstone. So here we go. This is also quite heavy, a little big. This is probably,
Yeah. Wow, that's amazing.
yeah, this is about as cool as it gets. See the gold and the silver?
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, I don't know what that black is.
No, I don't know either.
All I know is that when they take the material out of the ground, it usually has other type of stones or impurities that are embedded in it.
That's right.
And the carver just leaves it in there when they're forming the skull.
It's
Just
the
keep it
best.
all
It's what makes this is so heavy.
Yeah.
This is probably 8-9 pounds, and it's a little larger for sure. But man, heavy. This thing is just full of energy. And I bring up weight because it's the density of the crystals and the concentration of everything, and very powerful energetically. But that's about as beautiful as anything you are ever going to hold. Let me see if I can get some light on here. It doesn't.
No, I think we can see it.
Yeah,
I think we can see it pretty good. Yep, beautiful skull.
Beautiful. Now, what is it about ruby, man? Ruby is magic.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, you're asking me questions not in my area because I don't work with all these different gemstones. If I personally had all the skulls with all the materials that you have, then I would have more experience with it. But there's just a select set of skulls which I work with, mostly quartz skulls. And the
lapis lazuli, you mentioned that.
Yeah, and then I have two what are called Mongolian skulls, which are older skulls. One has, I think, quartz crystal in the front and some kind of red stone in the back, which I'm not totally sure where that's from. So they have some different kind of stones. But generally, I wind up with, Katrina has a dragon skull too, which is, somebody told me what stone it was. Yeah, see, I'm so bad with the stones, I can't even remember the name of the stone they told me on her dragon skull. It was a green stone.
Yeah, I have a couple of those.
Yeah. So, you can find pretty much anything made out of any type of gemstone that you can imagine out there. Carvers are making them. So it's all personal preference. It's what you resonate with, what feels good to you. When you work with it, do you start feeling an energy or a heat working with it? So it's pretty unpredictable to predict for each person what is going to be the best stone that's going to work for them. It's kind of like you have to experiment, or you go see somebody that already has skulls, and you start looking and seeing, which one do I resonate? Oh, I really like this one. And then there'll probably be somebody who's making skulls like that. Because they have so many carvers out there. Like, people have asked me, how many skulls are they carving? You cannot possibly answer this question. It's so many, it's unbelievable.
Well, and it's and you can tell by my skulls that these are coming from the same carver.
Yeah.
I resonate with what I resonate with, and I like the style. Right. But you're right. There are some out there that are really, really good. You have to, if you go to Carolyn Ford's website, which is Einstein the Crystal Skull, and the links are below, and you can go and check out Joshua's stuff on his Facebook page. What do you resonate with? What you look through, because there's so many, and when you stop and go, aha. Okay, that's one thing. You kind of, I think that there's something else that happens in person, and I think that's so important. I'm fortunate to have people that are very close to me that know what I like, know my personality, right. and I get gifted stuff, and then I get the surprise, and I get to feel that initial connection. It's like somebody sending you a puppy. You don't have to see the puppy in advance. You're going to love that puppy no matter what, right? And it's kind of the same thing. Now, do you have an obsidian skull?
Do I have an obsidian skull? No, I don't think we do. I just know the stone very well.
Okay, we'll do that in a second. I'm going to show everybody another ruby skull.
Okay.
Very dense. This is also a baby Einstein.
Mm-hmm.
This is about as cool as it gets.
Yep.
Just look at that.
Yep. Amazing.
Look at the streaks and the ruby. It's just now smaller, but because of what this is also very, very, very dense. You know, this is a few pounds. It's very
right. So what people need to remember is it doesn't matter the size, the shape, anything. I mean, you can have little tiny skull that could be as powerful as a huge crystal skull. It's totally unpredictable. I mean,
I have crystal that I keep here on my desk. There's a chunk of meteorite, right? I keep this on my it's the same stuff. This you know what I mean? Same stuff.
Right.
This skull has been with me for a very long time. Probably around 10 years, something like that. And it's I don't know how it's so alive. And to see it, so this is like a turquoise and green. You can see that. And some parts of it get a little blue in the face. It's a little blue, but it's kind of like this, like mint green. I guess that's the best, with these metallic flakes throughout the whole thing, and then with the ruby gemstone, and it just absolutely a beautiful skull. Very, 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 very powerful. You can see how I sit with my skulls.
Yeah,
what I do, you know.
Yeah.
I do it all the time too. I'll be here on the show. Nobody can see my hands. I'm holding a skull as I'm doing the interview.
Right.
I do that all the time.
Well, you're just giving examples for people of a guardian like yourself and how you work with them. We each have our unique way to work with them. You know, some people will go out with a crystal skull, tiny crystal skull, put it in their pocket, put it in their purse, whatever, you know, take it with them the whole day. Some people, where let's say they get upset or thrown or something, they'll just pull their crystal skull, take a moment, do a small meditation, try to reestablish, rebalance themselves. So it's a powerful tool for a person. It can be a powerful tool for a person to use in their life, you know, and especially to help them to develop their spiritual gifts or their creative gifts as well.
Now, tell me about the search for the blue skull in Peru.
Okay, so what happened is, I remember that there were several times I went to Peru over the years. And there was one time I went to Peru where I started to get a vision of a skull that existed in the northern part of Peru. I had a vision of it, and I was feeling my body pulled to the northern part of Peru. Now, most of the time when people go on tours to Peru, they go to the central part or the southern part to look at the ruins, but I was drawn to the northern part. So I had to talk to a tour guide that I knew, and I was saying, are there like ancient sites in the northern part of Peru where you suggest I should go, where maybe I could find a crystal skull buried with those people? And so he gave me a list of things. But eventually what happened was my body was being pulled in the very far northern part of Peru, which was south of, what's north of Peru? Is it not Bolivia?
No,
It's
Bolivia is south.
Colombia, right? Colombia. So Colombia is north of Peru. So it's up by that border. I just kept feeling my body being pulled to that part of Peru. So eventually I got to travel there. And eventually I got to meet a shaman up there who was taking people to a sacred place called, um, let's see if I can remember it, the Black Lagoon, Laguna Negra, which is high up in the Andes Mountains, just south of Colombia. And he would take people to go up there to this lagoon where he would do sacred ceremony, clears dark air, dark energies, and so on. So I got guided up to him, and I was just letting him talk to me about his rituals and everything that he did. And then I took out pictures of crystal skulls, and I thought, you know, if anybody knows where there's this blue skull that I keep seeing in my mind's eye being drawn to the northern part of Peru, it's going to be one of these shamans. So I went to him, I took out the pictures, I said, do you know anything about this? And he said, I'm sorry, I know nothing about this. Just because somebody is part of an indigenous tribe or culture or coming from a place, because there are some skulls that are coming out of Peru, not necessarily quartz skulls, but I've seen like different type of gemstone skulls that have come out of Peru connected with some of the ancient civilizations. So after he said he didn't know, I quit my job and I paid all this money to go up to the northern part of Peru looking for this thing, and I'm coming up empty-handed. I got to do something while I'm here. So I decided, I took a guide and he took me to this Laguna Negra. And when I got to the Laguna Negra, behind the lagoon was a mountain, and on the mountain I saw a skull face, and I knew that was the place I needed to go to continue my search for this blue skull. So to make a long story short, I went to this sacred place 3 times, and each time I would have a different vision of the blue skull. But essentially what I see is I see a skull that is a perfect human size skull made out of a sky blue type of gemstone or quartz with a movable jaw, but it is how would you say it? It has its own intelligence to it, because when it started appearing to me, when I started having visions of it when I was up there, it was like alive and talking to me and everything. And it said, it's not time yet for me to come out because my energy and vibration is too high. People aren't ready to deal with it. So the only thing that I could do was just talk about all my experiences to this part of Peru, what I saw, like when we did meditation one time, there was a UFO cloud that came up while we were meditating in this area where I was looking for the blue skull. And then I went up into the mountain itself where the skull face was, and I had some experiences up there. My total sensing is from all those 3 trips is the blue skull is not in the physical reality right now. It used to be in the physical reality when it was in Atlantis and Lemuria, but we're not ready for it yet, but it will come out sometime in the future. I have no idea if I'm the person that's going to be connected to or not. I don't know why I was the one that had to start sharing about a skull that I can't physically prove or show to people, that they have to base it on my experiences. But this blue skull is always around me. Whenever I think about it, it's like above my head at 45 degrees on my left side. And when I want people to experience it, it will float over my right hand, and people will put their right hand over it, and I will experience it. So I'm just kind of waiting for it. When it's the right time for it to come out, it'll decide to physically manifest into our reality. But
did you go to Iquitos?
No.
What was the name of the town? You went into the jungle though. Northern Peru is heavy jungle.
Yeah, but this part wasn't, well, it could have been partly jungle, but it was mostly up in the mountains.
Okay.
So it wasn't like the heavy jungle like the Amazon. That's what you're thinking about.
That's the
Amazon.
Yeah,
that's Iquitos is the Amazon. This was not the Amazon. This was more towards the coast. Okay, so it would be west of it. But it was up in the Andes
okay.
mountains.
So, then you're talking about the border with Ecuador.
Sorry, you're right. Ecuador, not Colombia.
Yeah. Colombia is on the eastern. Okay,
Right.
so here's Peru. At the top of Peru, Colombia
Is
comes
that
down and touches, but
right?
over on the coast, that's
It's
Ecuador.
Ecuador. Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's Ecuador. Sorry about that.
yeah, and yeah, you're right. It's a totally different vibe over there too, as well.
Yeah,
As
completely
is all
different.
of the coast of Peru is different than what is going on
Right.
inland, and it gets arid, it gets deserty, all the way down, man, all the way down the edge
Right.
of Peru. That's all desert, and then the
Right.
further east you go, you head into the Andes Mountains, and a
Right.
completely different
But
thing going on there.
I think the Andes Mountains that I was in, that it was part of Lemuria at one time, because I just felt energy from stones up there that just felt like it came from Lemuria. And there was a temple in this area that I went into. I had a vision of a temple where it was like there were 12 or 13 skulls that were on glass cases in a circular room in this temple, and it was during the time of Lemuria. And it was up in this mountain area that I went into. I saw this vision of it. So I had a lot of visions when I was up in this area. And I think seeing the ship come as a UFO just was saying this whole area is super energy charged. There's all kinds of things going on there that we don't normally see or we're not aware of unless you're kind of like sensitive, spiritual
Well,
sensitive. Right?
yeah. What is it about Peru? I just got back a couple of weeks ago. I just got back from Peru, and my second trip there in a year. I'm going there 2 more times in 2025. Very excited about that. What is it about Peru? You don't have to be activated, but if you go, you're going to come back activated. I get
Or yeah, definitely. I think what it is for some reason in a lot of parts of Peru, they didn't modernize it. Like, there's modern cities there, but they're not all over the place. There's still lots of part of Peru that are natural. And maybe somehow
most of it. The only well, I don't want to speak out of place. It's not like I'm some Peru expert, but I've spent a lot of time there.
yeah,
Lima,
yeah,
yeah,
Lima,
it's a modern situation, but Cusco,
not
uh,
really.
no,
It-
it's Cusco is older than anything on this planet. It's
yeah,
probably older than Cairo by 5,000 years
yeah,
or 10,000 years.
even though they try to modernize it, it still has all the old buildings there and everything. So
All of the megalithic stonework. But anyway, what is it about Peru? It's
I,
crazy. It's so
I just
spiritual.
right. I just think that it was part of Lemuria, and even though Lemuria broke off, that this section of it still remains and still holds its energy between the ancient sites that are there, between the energy. And the other thing that they've talked about with Peru is there were a lot of Incas who disappeared. When the Spanish came and they started invading Peru, a
Yep.
lot of Incas disappeared. And a
No,
lot of
they
people,
were wiped out. They didn't disappear. They
well,
were wiped out.
no, I'm not sure that that was totally it. I think that they knew about underground cities that are underneath there, and
Possible.
a lot of them went into these underground cities.
Possible. Well, and they hit a lot of stuff too, as well, from the Spanish
Right.
underground.
So if there are these underground cities, that means there's going to be tremendous energy coming out of the ground. Okay. So this could also be a part of it. Plus, also the people in Peru will tell you that they normally see the galactics, the UFOs, the ships come all the time. So there has to be special frequencies of energies there. If it's going to draw the ships to come down, it has to be from ancient ruins and structures, could be from structures under the ground, could be that parts of it still are connected to Lemuria. It's a combination of a lot of different things, I think, that brings that. Because for me it's the same as like you. Every time I go, I don't come back the same. I'm a completely different person. It's like I've been in a different world, and then I have to take 2 or 3 weeks to get used to being back in the so-called normal world.
You're right about that. Now talking about Cusco. I'm going to get back to crystal skulls, but Cusco has Sacsayhuaman, which is stunning. I mean, just crazy. But
Yeah.
outside of Sacsayhuaman, up at the top, so Cusco's down. There's a mountain, and then Sacsayhuaman sits on the top of it, overlooking Cusco. Same. Okay. Anyway, but just connected to that is a temple complex called Kento.
Yep.
Yeah. Q''ENTO. Kento.
Right.
Kento is old. Thousands and thousands and thousands of years before the Inca arrived there. It's a megalithic, incredibly beautiful. I mean, the same thing with Sacsayhuaman or any other megalithic site that is there. The Incas arrived and built on top of it. You can see the differences in the stonework. Putting that aside, Kento is so massive, and these stones are so big, and there's a labyrinth there, and it's just crazy. You've seen it. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
but when you see the size and the power of these red granite, I mean, they're 50 feet tall, these stones, and carved, and the grounding wall in Kento is the craziest thing. And we talk about the Great Pyramid and these other sites. You go to Kento, and walk through and see that and feel the power of red granite, jumbo sized stones that have been toppled over. That started one. It's like, what did this? And spiritually, and the sacrifice table that's down in that cave is carved out of a single piece of granite. Right. And you go down there. So back to the crystal skulls. It's a very spiritual place, man. You walk through there and you can just feel the power. All right. Here is something unique. This is black obsidian with some crazy inclusions in it. And this is a very unique skull.
Yep.
And very beautiful.
Yep.
And you can see the silver streaks. It kind of looks like gold, but it's not. And look at it glitter. The streak that this right here.
Absolutely.
And that's about as powerful as it gets. All of mine are, and everybody's going to connect with their skulls on their own. But you can't help but look at this and go, you know what? Dude, you got it going on.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what is it about obsidian?
All I heard about obsidian is it was a stone that was used to block the energies of the sacred crystal skulls.
That's right.
That there were people that were looking for these sacred skulls as power objects, and so the priests needed to hide them, and they would build obsidian boxes and put it in there, and it totally cloaks any type of energy coming out of them. So that was the way in which obsidian was used. So, you know how it works as a skull. It's going to be, of course, a little bit different. You know, different form of energy it's going to work with obsidian. But you know, obsidian, when I've held it, I've always felt close to it for some reason. I can't explain why. Like even an obsidian rock that I hold it and I go, I don't know why, but I just like holding this. It just makes me feel calm and peaceful and harmonious. So, so those are the things that I've experienced and I know about obsidian.
Yeah, so blocks and absorbs.
Yeah,
blocks and absorbs.
Yeah,
isn't he? That's a handsome dude right there.
Yeah,
that's a handsome MF.
I actually think he looks a little bit like you, Jimmy.
A little bit. I've heard that before. Do you remember the movie Pulp Fiction?
Yes.
When they're in the diner, and he picks his wallet out of the bag, and he goes, "Well, what does your wallet look like?" And he says, "It's the one that says BMF."
Uh-huh.
right?
Right.
That's his wallet says BMF on it.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, he's just real cool, man.
Well, for
There's
your audience, I just want them to notice that Jimmy is like a traditional, typical guardian. He loves his crystal skulls. He works with them. They make a difference in his life. He's using them when he's working. So this is normal. Everything that Jimmy's telling us, this is normal. What I find with other guardians is they have their own way to work with their skulls, how they work with them in their life and help them and so on. So, you know, this is the way that I would see a crystal skull. It's an assistant to help the person to become more of who they truly are. So that would be one way I would define how these new skulls that are being carved are helping people.
I like this. I have names for everything. Oh, you know what I forgot to get? The amber skull.
Oh.
Okay. I'm going to have you tell a story, and you can
Okay.
just talk. It'll take. It's on the other side of the house. It's a little bit of a walk, but I'm going to go and do that anyway. And you can just tell a story. The one last looking at the clock. This is crazy heavy. This is Ingve, and this is a pyrite skull.
Oh yeah. Yeah, amazing. I would have to say pyrite is another stone that I can't explain why, but whenever I see it, I always feel drawn to it.
I'm completely drawn to it. I have so much pyrite. I have so much. Like I said, I've got bowls of pyrite here in the studio. This is it's a very special stone. It's an energy absorption tool. Really, now there's been some studies done. It's been looked into. Wi-Fi signals, Bluetooth signals, radiation off of your screens and your monitors, and EM stuff that you have going on in your house. Pyrite is the best for absorbing that. That's why I have bowls of it. I literally have bowls of pyrite. There's so much pyrite here. I don't even know. But this is serious power. This is a very, very, very heavy, dense skull, but perfect.
Yeah, perfect. They also call pyrite fake gold because
fool's gold.
Fool's gold, because in a way it almost looks like a golden color too.
It's gold. There's a little bit. Okay, so he's gold on the sides, and you can see that. A little silvery right through here, and a little bit on the bottom, but all pyrite looks like that. I have pyrite nuggets, right? I have bowls of it. And so when you first look at it, it looks like gold nuggets. It does. It really does. Then you look and you can see the silver highlights. And that's what you have here with this guy. Like I said, his name is Ingve because he's heavy metal.
Okay.
You don't know who Ingve is, do you?
No.
He's a guitar player.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. He's an okay guitar player. He's not that good. He needs to, he's got to learn technique, and then Ingve might do something with his career. But this is Ingve, and Ingve, I keep around this. Okay, so this guy here, this is Boris, and he's Russian. All right, he's always hit me as a Russian dude. I don't know why, but I will often have him sitting on my coffee table looking at me. Like he'll sit there for a couple of weeks on my coffee table and just look right, because he's got that face. He's just got this face, and you're okay with that. And I do the same thing with Ingve. Ingve, I'll put wherever I have electronics going. So he's really good in the family room, around the TV and the stereo and the speakers and all the electronics that are in there, but also in here in the studio. But I have him face me, and I'm okay with that. And you know what else I have for Ingve? I've got little crystal eyeballs.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that I put in there. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Or-
Okay. I'm going to have you tell a story.
Okay.
And I'm going to go and run and get, perfect. Tell everybody where they can go and get your ebooks. I'll be right back.
Okay. All right. So everyone, there are 9 free ebooks that I offer, 7 which I have personally written myself, and 2 other ones I found which I thought were so important I gave them out. So if you have any questions for me, not only about the ebooks, but maybe some of the skulls I'm selling, or also, just questions on crystal skulls or these activities that we're doing, like we have the Crystal Skull Explorers community. But the free ebooks, you want to write to me at crystalskullexplorers@gmail.com, crystalskullexplorers@gmail.com. And I have a book on crystal skulls. I have a book from my future self, Argus, which we haven't gotten into yet, about
Oh,
some of the.
we can't let that go. So we've got to get to that.
Okay.
And spell Argus for us.
Okay, so the way the spelling is small r, capital J, small I, small s. So it's pronounced Argus. Argus appeared to me one day and said, I am you, Joshua, in your future from 2037 to 2040. So I said, you are? Then you're going to tell me everything that happens from now to where you are? And he said, absolutely not. I had to go through it. You have to go through it. All I can do is show you through my eyes what the future looks like at that period of time. So that's what he told me. So I have one of my free ebooks is called Messages from Argus, where Argus showed up when I was in Brazil one time and started writing through me about the future. And then he showed up around me as a spirit. And so there are certain messages that I've received from him. So that's kind of what I put into the book. So if you were going to say, well, what does Argus tell you about the future? Well,
that's my next question. And
right.
You know that because you know the future. See, you knew.
Well, let's put it this way. If Argus is real as I believe him to be, okay, because it's most definitely, it's an intelligence that's talking to me, okay, then all I can do is say what I see through his eyes for our future. So first thing is, and this is very important, if this is correct, and every single person who's listening to the show, that you believe that what I'm about to tell you is correct, even though what's happening in our world right now, you might think, well, I don't see possibly how this could be the future in like 15 years from now, or less than 15 years from now. No, you can't think that. You just have to trust and believe that what I'm going to tell you is true. Total, absolute paradise exists in the future. What does that look like? Communities. People are living in communities with each other. The adults are parents to all the children. The entire world, we love each other. Argus keeps telling me, this traditional family that you have now in 2024, it's not going to exist where I am anymore. People are going to be free to be themselves, to love whoever they want, to create family with whoever they want. We're going to have galactic beings walking amongst us. Our kids are going to look at them and go, oh, yeah, this is perfectly normal. Didn't this happen for you when you were young? Didn't you have our galactic family walking with you on the street? And we're going to say, no, we didn't have that. A matter of fact, we didn't even know if they existed. There were only rumors. We didn't have the proofs you have right now, where you have the beings walking in front of you. It's like people are just going to be waking up in the morning and celebrating every day. Like I feel myself going out, and I don't care who my neighbor is or whatever. I'm hugging them and I'm saying, come on, let's dance. Let's sing. Let's the child come out, So it's going to be such a joyful world, advanced technology with spirituality, with connection to all kinds of galactic beings. This is exactly what I see. I cannot see anything else. And I just believe that everything that's happening right now, everything that's not flowing for the best of humanity, the only way I hear myself saying it is being flushed down the toilet right now. All these old systems that don't work anymore, They're being flushed down the toilet, literally. Why are all the governments blowing up all of a sudden? South Korea, Canada. Somebody said today that the prime minister is going to resign. I
Yeah.
couldn't find a confirmation of that, but I saw that on
Oh,
television.
there's that. I don't do politics on this show. I don't,
Right.
Joshua. But let's stay with what you just said for a second. You brought it up. I didn't.
All right.
I was the other day. This revelation just popped in my head,
Mhm.
and I thought to myself, how stable really has things been over the last 30, 40, 50 years? How stable, right? I mean, like, how stable? Well, actually, pretty stable. A couple of things happened. Soviet Union fell. Okay, that was a big deal. That
Yeah.
was pretty big.
Right.
But really, that was 1990, right? 1990. Poland, right? And so when you think about Czechoslovakia, Yugoslavia, the Baltic states, and East Germany, right? Okay, but if you think about what just happened in the last few weeks, man, I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
South America, I mean, South Korea and Syria.
Yeah.
Syria.
Yeah.
Syria. Now we have Canada in the mix.
Right.
France. There's a
Yeah.
vote that's about to go down there, and you just look and think about these changes that have happened in very, very short order around the world. Just like in a couple of, just like what?
And that doesn't even include the drones that people still don't have any
that's a
clue
whole
what.
nother. That's a
Right.
whole
What's
nother.
happening with that?
That's
You
a whole
know.
nother. I've done
I
so
mean,
much media on that this week.
right. I
Okay,
mean,
so let's get to this because I've been talking. This is her name is Marigold. I haven't changed her name.
okay.
And Amber.
Beautiful.
Look at that.
Yep.
Is that nuts?
Yep. Crazy. I have seen other amber skulls too. They're all like that.
Yep.
Amazing.
Yep. Just and so I can't stress this enough. A friend of mine had this out on display, not on, just out because of her connection, and
Mhm.
I picked her up and I never let her go, man. I never did. I left with it, and the only reason why I got it, she had her brother at home. That was the only reason. And she told me, she said, "There's no way, but it's you and you're my friend, okay? But I happen to have her brother at home, so I'm okay with you
Right.
taking Marigold." But look at that.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, and let me see, so everybody can see these inclusions. You can kind of see what amber looks like lit up.
Hmm.
Just crazy. It looks as beautiful as you think it does, right?
Yes, it does.
The carving and the artwork, and but this is, I have no idea how old this amber is or if there's stuff inside of it. It's full of stuff. It's
Right.
full of stuff. But as powerful as anything that's out there.
Yep.
Yeah,
Most definitely.
amber. To
So
see an
Jim,
amber skull.
so Jimmy, we have about 10 minutes left.
Yes.
Can I tell them about a couple of things before we head
You
off?
can do it, Joshua. You're the guest. You do whatever you want.
Okay. So I just
I'm
want
just
everyone,
gonna I'm gonna
just
sit
want
here and
every,
hold Marigold.
all right. Just want everyone to know kind of like what we have going on in case you may be interested to participate. So the Center for the Advancement of Humanity has two public projects that we started this year. One is Crystal Skull related. It's called the Crystal Skull Explorer Member Community. and it's only available on Facebook. So again, if you're not sure how to find me on Facebook, you want to send an email to me at crystalskullexplorers@gmail.com, and I'll give you the direct link to it. We're building a community there with people who are like Jimmy and I, who are Crystal Skull Guardians, where we get to talk to each other, tell our stories, tell our experiences, show our pictures of our skulls and everything. But I think eventually what's going to happen is we as a community are going to do something co-creatively to help Mother Earth and this planet, working with the energy of the crystal skulls. We also announce in that group when we do our world peace meditations, which happen on the 13th of every month at the 13th hour locally. So we're going to start with probably a new type of meditation for next year in 2025. We have one more coming up on December 30th. So this year we will have done 13 world peace meditations. The other group is not connected specifically to the crystal skulls. It's called Soul Family Gathering of Central Florida. But the idea of it is, which again is part of where we're moving towards in the future, is bringing together what I call soul family, which are people who are on their own spiritual path. But as we start meeting with each other, and this has been happening to me so much within the last 3 or 4 months, is as I'm going to these gatherings, every time 1 or 2 people I meet, I feel a heart connection with, like I've known them forever. And we start talking as if we've been speaking for thousands and thousands of years. So we're creating this group in Florida, but we also have an online Zoom call where people from anywhere in the world can come on and talk to each other. And it's all about creating this community and having other people of like mind that you can talk to about anything and everything and be your unique self without being, I can't think of the word. This is a problem that happens to you when you get to be 69. People have a bad opinion of you. So there's a word for that. So everybody just gets to be themselves, and it's kind of like growing. We started in Orlando. Now we're in 4 cities in Florida, and I'm looking for more places to connect with and to continue to do that. And then the Center for the Advancement of Humanity itself, it's just energetically exists. We have a website. We have a Rumble video page where we have interviews with people, and we have a Telegram page where every time I see something on one of the Telegram channels I follow that's extraordinary, I copy it into my channel. So a lot of things to do with Tartaria, which is, the civilization that existed that was only like 200 some years ago, where they're starting to find absolute proof for it. We didn't talk about this, but one of the books I have also gives you some support for the idea that maybe we're not living on a globe. What it is, you have to decide by reading the book, all kinds of this type of stuff. This is what I see the center eventually doing. It'll be crystal skulls, the guides that are helping me with the center, which are galactic, say, oh yeah, you'll be in contact with us too, and we're going to give you all kinds of our good stuff, sacred wisdom and knowledge from our culture and everything. This will be part of the center. So we're going to see major changes coming to our world, especially like the money system, the med beds, all kinds of amazing things that I think are going to be starting to come out here. So
yeah, I'm looking at some of these pictures from your Facebook page. Absolutely incredible, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible.
Yeah,
wow.
we did. And also we did a Crystal Skull online panel that people really enjoyed. So, we're just thinking of different projects and things to do, but it's community based, bringing people together. In other words, I'm doing my Aries stuff. Catalyst, get it going, but then, create the space so people can come together, and then we co-create together all kinds of amazing things that come up. So with knowing that the world we're coming into is going to be totally peaceful and harmonious, knowing that we as our spiritual family or soul family are going to probably get requests from us to help our friends and family to understand all these great changes that are coming and the truth that's coming out. We have a lot of things to look forward to into the future. And the crystal skulls will be there somewhere in the background, sending out all this amazing frequencies and energies and healing energies and empowering us. So
Is Rosalita your skull?
yes, Rosalita is the rose quartz skull that I have.
Wow, man, stunning.
Yeah. So she came from a Chinese carver.
Yeah, stunning.
Yeah.
Now there's Rosalita. Who's the big one in the middle?
I'm not sure. It's probably
I'm looking.
Is it Portal de Luz, the smoky quartz skull?
Looks could be smoky.
Yeah,
Pretty big though. It's pretty
yeah,
big.
He's the largest one that I have after Rosalita. He's the one that's in the ocean right now. If he wasn't in the ocean, I would have been showing him to you tonight. So people have to look at him online to see him. And then I think the rabbi, that's the Lapis lazuli skull. He's the next largest one that we have.
Yeah, I see him. Okay, but who's the giant one in the middle? Or is this? It's on a rug or it's on a blanket. I can't pull up the picture. I can't.
It
has to small.
It has to be Portal de Luz because it's Rosalita and Portal de Luz are the two largest.
How big is Rosalita?
13 pounds.
Yeah, it's big.
She's 13 pounds and Portal de Luz is 10, and I think the rabbi's like 8 pounds.
Yeah, I'm looking at them here. Yeah, that's that is a nice setup here. They're all in the water. Yeah, she is. She's pretty good size, man.
Yeah.
Man, the rabbi's pretty big too. The rabbi's taller.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That's a nice collection, man.
Right.
Who's the green one?
That's
okay if you don't know.
I can't remember.
Okay. In this shot, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. In the water. They're in the water.
Yeah. There's probably some of them that are in the box that I haven't been working with. Because again, I'm in a really small room.
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. Wow. Beautiful skulls, man. Look at that.
Yeah.
Wow. She is nice.
Yeah.
But the Lapis skull is pretty cool too as well. I like the circle on the top.
Yeah, that's why it's called the rabbi, because it looks like a Jewish yarmulke.
Yarmulke. That's it. It's a yarmulke.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. Wow. Yeah. Wow. It is a yarmulke.
Yeah. So it's my pleasure and honor to be the guardian of these skulls. People get a lot of enjoyment when I take them out, and they told me, they said, "Dad, you are never allowed to say no if somebody asks to hold us."
I love that. And I just noticed that one of the pictures I was looking at of the rabbi was taken in 2013.
Yeah,
so
I think
that's quite a while ago. How long have you had the rabbi?
He came when we were living in Seattle, so it could have been around 2013.
The picture's time-stamped 2013.
Yeah, it could have been around that time. It was a gift from a person who read my Blue Skull book. I talked about another blue skull I had a dream of, and she felt inspired to send the rabbi as a gift.
Joshua, thank you so much, man. A great way for us to wrap up 10 years on the air, doing it with you, my friend. Thank you so much. And we've got all of your groups posted up in the chat.
Great.
And there's nothing like the Crystal Skull community, man. I just dig it so much, and just thank you for hanging out with me tonight. And
my pleasure.
I'll talk to you soon. We've got the links up for your ebooks and your website and everything else. It's in the chat. It's over on our website and throughout social media. Joshua, enjoy the rest of your night, man, and Merry Christmas. All right.
Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah.
You're the best. Thank you, Joshua Shapiro. Perfect night on the show. I just clicked on him too fast, but there you go. And I want to remind everybody, yes, tonight with Joshua, we close out 10 years of Fade to Black. Tomorrow is our 11th anniversary, and we're going to do all of that tomorrow night with an AMA, AJA right here on Fade to Black. But for now, all I've got is Go Back Lee Tappy. Fade to Black is produced by Hilton J. Palm, Renee Newman, and Michelle Freed. Special thanks to Bill, John, Dex, Jessica, Dennis, and Kevin. Webmaster is Drew the Geek. Music by Doug Aldrich. Intro, Space Boy. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network. This broadcast is owned and copyrighted 2024 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network, Inc. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Go back, Lee Tappy.